For many years, walking has been presented as the gold standard of exercise after 60. Simple, safe, accessible. And while walking certainly has value, recent research suggests something important that most people were never told. For older adults, walking alone may no longer provide enough stimulus to protect strength, balance, and long-term mobility. Several large observational studies now show that after 60, the body responds far better to targeted movements than to repetitive, low-intensity activity. In fact, newer research following thousands of adults over multiple years found that seniors who shifted from long walking routines to a small group of specific exercises experienced noticeably better balance, greater strength gains, less joint discomfort, and fewer mobility-related setbacks. What surprised researchers most was not just the improvement, but how quickly it happened. Participants spent less total time exercising, yet their physical capability increased far more than those who relied on walking alone. The reason is simple. As we age, muscles, tendons, and the nervous system all change. They need clear signals to stay strong. Walking sends a very familiar signal, one the body adapts to quickly. Targeted movements send new signals that encourage the body to respond, and that response can be powerful. In this video, we'll look at 5 specific exercises that many older adults now use to support strength, balance, coordination, and confidence in daily movement. These are not extreme exercises. They don't require special equipment, and most people can adapt them to their own comfort level. One of them, in particular, is so simple that nearly everyone can try it immediately. Yet research suggests it may support multiple systems at once: muscles, balance, and even how the brain coordinates movement. Before we continue, take a moment and think about this. What movement feels harder for you now than it did 10 years ago? Standing up from a chair? Climbing stairs? Catching your balance? You're welcome to share. Now, let's begin with exercise number 5, a movement that looks almost too easy, but works in a way many traditional exercises don't. Exercise number 5, wall push UPS with a hold. At first glance, wall push-ups may not look impressive. There's no floor work, no weights, no strain. But research suggests that this variation activates muscles differently than fast, repetitive movements. The key is the hold. Holding a position under gentle tension encourages the muscles to stay engaged longer, which is especially important after 60. This exercise supports upper body strength, shoulder stability, arm coordination, and core engagement, all of which play a role in daily tasks, carrying items, pushing doors, or stabilizing yourself if you lose balance. To perform it, stand about an arm's length from a wall. Place your hands flat at shoulder height. Slowly lean toward the wall until your elbows bend. Now pause. Hold that position for a few seconds while breathing steadily. Then slowly press back to the starting position. The movement should feel controlled, not rushed. Many people start with just a few repetitions and gradually build up. What researchers observed is that this type of slow, controlled tension helps the body improve reaction timing, an important factor in balance and fall prevention. Small adjustments can make it easier or more challenging, depending on how close or far you stand from the wall. It's adaptable, accessible, and surprisingly effective. Next, we'll move to exercise number 4, which focuses on leg strength and walking confidence, but in a way that traditional walking doesn't fully address. Now let's move on to the next exercise, because it addresses something that walking almost completely misses, and that is leg strength with control. Not just movement, but the ability to lift, hold, and stabilize your body. Exercise number 4, seated leg lifts. This exercise is done while sitting, but don't underestimate it. Research shows that seated leg lifts target muscles that are directly responsible for walking speed, stair climbing, and standing up from a chair. These movements become harder not because we stop walking, but because the muscles involved are no longer challenged in a meaningful way. Seated leg lifts focus on the thighs and hip muscles while also engaging the core for stability. To perform this movement, sit upright in a sturdy chair. Keep your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. Slowly lift one leg forward, straightening it as much as is comfortable. Hold briefly, then lower it slowly, without letting the foot fully rest on the floor. Repeat for several controlled repetitions, then switch sides. The slow pace is important. It encourages the muscles to stay engaged longer which supports strength development after 60. As this becomes easier, some people add light resistance, such as ankle weights or resistance bands. What makes this exercise especially valuable is that it works one leg at a time. That helps address natural imbalances that develop over the years, something walking rarely corrects. People who practice this regularly often report improved confidence when climbing stairs or standing for longer periods. Now let's move to an exercise that works on a deeper level, not just muscles, but circulation and balance. Exercise number 3, standing heel raises with balance focus. Heel raises are simple, but they play a much bigger role than most people realize. The muscles in your lower legs help support balance and circulation. When they weaken, people may notice swelling, stiffness, or reduced stability. To perform this exercise, stand behind a chair or near a wall for light support. Slowly rise onto the balls of your feet. At the top, pause briefly while keeping your gaze forward. Then slowly lower your heels back down. The pause at the top is where the real benefit happens. It challenges balance and encourages coordination between muscles and the nervous system. As confidence improves, many people reduce their reliance on support or try the movement on one leg at a time. Research has linked stronger lower leg muscles with better balance outcomes and fewer movement-related setbacks in older adults. This exercise also supports circulation by encouraging blood flow back up from the legs. Some people notice their legs feel lighter or more responsive over time. At this point, we've covered 3 exercises that work together to support upper body strength, leg stability, balance, and movement confidence. In the final part, we'll look at the top 2 exercises on this list. The second one directly supports independence, and the number 1 exercise brings everything together: strength, balance, coordination, and body awareness. Now we're moving into the top 2 exercises on this list. These are the movements that research consistently links with independence, confidence, and long-term mobility after 60. Exercise number 2, chair squats, modified sit-to-stand. This exercise may look simple, but it trains one of the most important movements in daily life: standing up from a chair. Think about how often you do it. Every meal, every bathroom visit, every time you get up to answer the door. When this movement becomes difficult, daily life shrinks very quickly. The modified chair squat strengthens the muscles that make this possible: thighs, hips, glutes, and the core. To perform it safely, stand in front of a sturdy chair, feet about hip-width apart, toes slightly turned outward. Slowly lower yourself toward the chair by pushing your hips back first. Lightly touch the chair with your hips, don't fully sit. Then press through your heels and stand back up. The key is control. Lower slowly. Stand up with intention. This teaches your body how to generate strength safely without relying on momentum. As strength improves, many people notice standing feels easier. Knees feel more supported. Balance improves. Some research even links improved sit-to-stand ability with better long-term mobility outcomes. Start with just a few repetitions. Quality matters far more than quantity. And now, the final exercise, the one that ties everything together. Exercise number 1, bird dog hold progressions. This movement may look unusual, but it's one of the most respected exercises in modern rehabilitation and longevity research. It works on core stability, balance, coordination, posture, and nervous system control. To begin, get onto your hands and knees on a comfortable surface. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips, spine neutral. Slowly extend one arm forward and the opposite leg backward. Keep your hips level. Hold briefly, then return and switch sides. The goal isn't speed, it's control and awareness. This exercise teaches your brain and body to work together. That connection becomes especially important as we age. Progressions can include holding longer, adding small pulses, or eventually performing the hold with eyes closed. Researchers have found that movements like this support balance and coordination in ways walking alone does not. They challenge the body in multiple directions and encourage stability through controlled tension. Many people report that with consistency, everyday movements feel smoother and more confident. Why these exercises matter more than walking alone. Walking is still beneficial, but it mostly works in one direction, at one speed, with limited challenge. These 5 exercises strengthen muscles in multiple planes, challenge balance, support coordination, and reinforce posture. And they do it in less time. Most people can complete all 5 in about 20 to 25 minutes, a few times per week. The goal isn't exhaustion. It's consistency. Small, controlled challenges tell the body to adapt, even after 60, 70, or beyond. Final thoughts. You don't need complicated equipment. You don't need intense workouts. And you don't need to exercise for hours. What matters is choosing movements that support how your body actually functions in daily life. Start where you are. Progress slowly. Stay consistent. Now I'd love to hear from you. What daily movement feels harder than it used to? Standing up? Stairs? Balance? Share it in the comments. We read and reply to them thoughtfully. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.